The Honourable Member for Moulton. The Speaker of the Commons, in his full-bottomed wig, gave the floor to Edmund Burke in the crowded chamber. Rubbing his long nose, the orator stood and glanced across to the opposite benches at the slumped figure of the Prime Minister, Pitt the younger, who seemed resigned to events. It would not do, however, to underestimate Pitt, even if, as a man of peace, he seemed unsure of his direction in this new war with the French. Burke drew himself up and spoke effortlessly above the disorderly hum. "Is this House aware that at this very moment, in a time of crisis without parallel in the history of these islands, His Majesty's government sees fit to let its chief means of defence, the Navy, its sure shield—" He paused and looked impressively about him. "Rot at anchor in its ports, while the enemy is at liberty to issue forth on his awful missions of destruction?" He was aware that behind him, ready for any excuse to interject, was the fat, mustard-waistcoated figure of Charles Fox. Discredited for his earlier support of the French Revolution, he was nevertheless leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition and a liability. "No doubt the honourable gentleman is sensible of the fact that our most valuable possessions in the Caribbean lie trembling in daily expectation of a descent by the enemy, that the city clamours for protection for its commerce, that we, the loyal Whigs—" He ignored the raucous splutter behind him that could only have issued from the embittered Fox— "demand, as conditional to our continued support to this ministry, that measures be taken to protect our commercial interests, and strong measures which are swift, effective, and decisive." Pitt slouched further down in his seat. What did they know of the real situation? Admiral Howe with the Channel Fleet was in port, true, but he commanded the only strategic fleet Britain possessed at this time, and would answer to the nation for its preservation until it was fit enough to grapple with the enemy. Howe would not jeopardize its safety. Still watching Burke, he leaned over to the man on his left and whispered, "Desire the Admiralty to make a showing off the French coast. Just 2 or 3 ships of force will suffice." That would be enough to mollify Burke, who'd only spoken to point up his own grand gesture of conciliation. Howe could spare 2 or 3 of the more elderly vessels. "Allow that it is a matter of some urgency," Pitt added wearily. From the quarter-deck of the ship of the line, Duke William, nothing could be seen of the passengers in the ugly little hoy, thrashing its way through the grey-green seas towards them.